Hello, I am Will Schofield, the Hall County School Superintendent. It is Wednesday, December the 9th, 2020, and I have a lot happening in the local community in the state of Georgia and our nation, particularly when it comes to COVID. Indeed, our local hospital system and our local community has seen a tremendous upswing in the number of COVID cases since the Thanksgiving holiday. We were worried about that, and we are experiencing it on a daily basis. And so just want to bring our students, our team members, and our community up to date in terms of what your school district is doing about COVID as we come back and are seeing these numbers after Thanksgiving break. First and foremost, safety will always be the first decision that we make. We spend multiple hours every day talking with particular schools about some of the information related to the positive COVID cases at their school. And at the end of the day, there are really two factors, and you see them in that first bullet point, that will shift a school in the Hall County School District away from in-person learning to blended while we let some COVID numbers decide. One is quite simply we don't have enough adults to carry off the schooling process. If we get to a point where we cannot safely and effectively deliver instruction at a school, we will switch to blended learning. But the second also is if we have the feeling that there are significant numbers of cases being spread at the school, and let me say this, that in spite of the fact that we've had a lot of COVID in this community and a lot of COVID with students, with team members, with community members, we continue to find case after case after case that the vast majority of these cases are being transmitted outside of school. So when we have 6 cases of COVID and we can narrow down that they came from outside of school, from family members, from friends, from the community, from church, and that those individuals are now at home and quarantined and getting better, it doesn't make a lot of sense to close school down when the individuals who had COVID didn't get it at school and they haven't passed it to people at school. So that's the tremendous difference. So you can see at this point we've closed is the wrong word. We have switched to blended learning at 4 schools. Those were East Hall High School, that was Davis Middle School, that was Cherokee Bluff High School, and because Cherokee Bluff High School shares a campus with Cherokee Bluff Middle School, we switched both of those schools to blended learning. And again, all of those schools got immediate deep cleanings, and we are watching and monitoring the numbers and the transmission daily. Let me just share with the community that we are finding some things that, again, it's just the facts, ma'am, as Sergeant Friday would have said, and that is that there were some large student gatherings, maybe as many as 150 students at a time over Thanksgiving break. We're able to trace a number of the cases at some of our schools back to those gatherings. And I would just take this opportunity again to plead with our students, to plead with our families, to mitigate, to wear face coverings, to socially distance. We are a long way from the end of COVID in the state of Georgia and in the Hall County community. And again, I would just ask you, even if you're not terribly concerned about getting COVID yourself, that for the sake of the medically fragile and the aged, please take these measures seriously and take them into account. That answers the next bullet, and that's why you would see schools with relatively large numbers of COVID cases that have not been switched to blended learning. The reason is we go through those cases one by one, and if almost every case we can trace back to a family member, a friend, something outside of school, and those individuals are home and recuperating. There really is little reason other than what it looks like to switch those schools to blended learning at that point. As we move forward, we'll continue to be flexible. We'll continue to make decisions as early as we can, but when we have information that comes in late in the day, when we have individuals that have been attending school when they haven't been feeling well and we don't know about it until 3 o'clock in the afternoon when we learn of a positive test, it puts us in a difficult situation. Let me apologize up front. I know it puts our families in a difficult situation, and all I can do is commit to let you know as early as possible when those things happen. We are looking daily at our winter sports activities, and once again, I will be the first to tell you I'm concerned about some of the transmission possibilities with winter sports activities, particularly in the crowds. And we are continuing to monitor that, to look at that, to make adjustments. And at the end of the day, we will make decisions based upon the safety of our students and the individuals that attend or may not attend those events. Just to let you know, we are looking at some sort of a way, we'll announce it in the next several days, that after Christmas break that we can go through another 200% accountability training with all of our students, all of our team members, with smaller numbers of students at school for a very limited amount of time. Keep in mind, we will have over 5,000 students coming back to school after the first of the year that have not been in one of our schools since March. And also keep in mind, after what we just saw happened after a Thanksgiving break, that we will have 2 weeks plus of a Christmas break. And if individuals are not careful, if individuals don't watch to try to limit the spread within their own families and households, we may find ourselves back in a similar situation after Christmas break. So not a lot of real positive news today. It is honest news. We will continue to do everything we possibly can to keep our community as safe as we can. And at the same time, I am so thankful that we're able to provide in-person learning for so many students for almost an entire first semester. So have a great day. We'll come back to you with news as soon as we have it. And thank you for letting us serve the boys and girls of this community.